This week on the show, the United States Postal Service continues to raise prices and continues to lose money. Poshmark CEO steps down, and Mercari posts their first ever U.S. profit. What is up, Galaxians? Welcome to another episode of the Galaxy CD's Rocks and Flips Reseller Talk podcast. My name is Ryan, and I have got a bunch of reselling news to go over this week. Yeah, I know. I said I wasn't going to do this reselling news gig. And here I am. There's just so much stuff going on that feels like it's relatively important. Stuff that you probably want to know about that you may have already heard about, but I'm going to give you my take on it anyway. So let's get stuck right in to this reselling news.
News updates.
First up, the big news of the week. Poshmark founder and CEO Manish Chandra has announced that he will be stepping down. This article and all of these, I believe, today are from Value Added Resource. There will be links to these in the show notes and the video description down below. 15 years after founding the company, Poshmark CEO Manish Chandra is stepping down and will be replaced by current executive chairman and Naver president of investments, Namsun Kim, if I'm saying that correctly. You may recall Poshmark sold to the private firm Naver, a South Korean internet firm, a couple of years back. This person works for them and is now going to be the new CEO at Poshmark. Chandra made the announcement in a company blog post earlier this week, thanking the Posh community for making the humble dream started in his Silicon Valley garage come true. Thank you, Posh community. A new chapter for Poshmark. Dear Poshmark community, 15 years ago, my three co-founders and I were fueled by a humble dream in my Silicon Valley garage to completely reimagine the future of retail. We saw a massive opportunity to leverage technology to enable you to shop and sell from one another's closets online and to truly connect around each magical experience. Our vision was to infuse the social and personal aspects that we all know and love about in-person shopping into a vibrant digital space. If you're a seller on Poshmark, let me know how well they have accomplished that. I don't sell over there, so I can't comment on it. I know initially, like the social aspect of it was something that really set it apart, but that piece of it, I feel like anecdotally from hearing from sellers, has become kind of a grind over there. So let me know in the comments down below, if you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, what your feeling is on that particular piece of what they were trying to accomplish. Anyway, he said, we poured our hearts into that dream with you every step of the way, and together we made it happen. Today, the Poshmark community is 150 million strong, and that's all thanks to you. Day in and day out, you embrace your unique secondhand style. You build your livelihoods with us, and most profoundly, you foster a supportive network amongst yourselves. The spirit of support and hashtag Posh love is the very heart of this community, and it's something I deeply hope you will all carry forward into this next exciting chapter of the company. Today, he said, we announced I've decided it's time for me to pass the torch as Poshmark CEO to Namsun Kim, Poshmark's current executive chairman and someone I've known deeply and respected since 2022. When I first met Namsun, his profound conviction in our mission immediately struck me. He said, I felt with certainty that he was someone I would be incredibly proud to see lead this company one day. For the better part of this year, Namsun and I have been working hand in hand, ensuring this transition is as smooth as possible, preparing him to lead Poshmark into its next era of growth and excellence. So this has been in the works for some time. Looks like the better part of a year, which would go back not too far after the acquisition of the company. We talked on this channel about that at that time, that at some point Naver was going to want to start to take a little more control and to generate a little more profit from their investment. It appears that that time has come. While my time as your CEO will conclude at the end of September, please know I'm not going far at all. I'll continue to serve as a board member and investor, and I will forever be Poshmark's biggest, most enthusiastic cheerleader. Namsun and I hope to see many of you at PoshFest next month in Silicon Valley, where it all began back in 2011. Leading this company, he concludes, has been the greatest honor of my professional life. Every success we've achieved, every challenge we've overcome has been because of you. It's been a privilege of a lifetime witnessing each of you grow, and it has truly inspired me every single day from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being the extraordinary community that you are, for your trust, your creativity, and for all the possibilities that you continue to create together. So that is his statement. Poshmark, as I mentioned, was acquired by the Korean tech firm Naver back in 2022. So I guess it's no surprise really that it's one of their folks that will be taking over. In addition to being on the board since 2023, Kim has held several high-level positions at Naver, including Senior Vice President of Corporate Development, Chief Financial Officer, and President of Investments. So this is a person who has been C-suite level for some time with Naver. There's a screenshot of what is probably looks like maybe his LinkedIn profile. For his part, he said, I'm incredibly honored and excited to step into the CEO role at Poshmark. I want to express my sincere gratitude to Manish for his outstanding leadership and the strong foundation he's built since day one. I'm committed to building upon his legacy to continue innovating, delivering exceptional value to the Poshmark community, and achieving new heights. This all, of course, comes with the background of Poshmark struggling through many changes that have proven to be unpopular, from fee changes that took place last year to the new controversial crackdowns, as mentioned in this article, who penalize sellers who do cross-listing, the excessive listing removal policy, and so on. So this is going to be a tough time for a transition, although to be fair, maybe it's the right time for one as well. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the change occurring at Poshmark, which will go into effect at the end of September. So big news over at Poshmark. The post office has made their announcement that they are raising prices again for the holiday shipping season. These are the quote-unquote temporary holiday surcharges that they put in place every year that some, if not all of them, to some level or other, end up becoming permanent in January. These increases are pretty substantial this year. This comes on the back of the mid-July price increase, which just went into effect. I say increase, it was an increase for most categories, especially USPS Ground Advantage and Priority. Those of us who use media mail actually got a little bit of a break, but this is going to go into effect for the holiday season. These will run from October 5th through January 18th, pending approval, of course, by the Postal Regulatory Commission, who, to my knowledge, has never not approved these increases. They said in a press release that the peak holiday selling season pricing adjustment is necessary to bring prices for the Postal Service retail and commercial customers in line with competitive practices. The plan, there will be a link to this. I'm not going to read all of these for you. This is a very comprehensive article that shows all of the different ones, but just to give you a flavor of it, at retail, counter rates, priority mail, and USPS Ground Advantage in zones 1 to 4, going up anywhere from 40 cents all the way to $3 for heavier packages. In zones 5 to 9, the price increase is even more substantial, from 90 cents to $7, which is a bunch. The priority mail flat rate going up about $1.50. UPS Ground Advantage, again, increases anywhere from 50 cents to $5.75. Big jumps there. Priority Mail Express, which I doubt most of us use too often, those are going up anywhere from $1.10 all the way up to $16. And this is an increase. These are not, to be clear, this is not what the new rate's going to be. This is on top of the existing rate. These are big increases. The commercial rate, which is what most of us use if you're using eBay labels, Etsy labels, Pirate Ship, ShipStation, that sort of thing. The increases are fairly similar, 30 cents to $3 for priority mail and ground advantage, zone 1 through 4, zones 5 through 9, 70 cents all the way up to $6.50. Ground advantage, zones 5 to 9, 35 cents all the way up to $5.50. Just huge increases. Again, I don't know how many people are shipping 26 to 70 pounds with USPS. I imagine at that weight, many of us are looking at UPS or FedEx, but these are just ginormous increases. The announcement comes as new Postmaster General David Steiner is under renewed pressure to abandon altogether the Delivering for America plan. As I have opined on this show previously, I think that ship has sailed. They're so far into the restructuring and the moving around of the various regional facilities and the physical infrastructure. I don't think you can abandon it at this point. So be prepared. Come early October, there are going to be some massive price increases. This article did not mention media mail price increases. I would expect that those will go up as well, but it is not mentioned in this article. So be aware of that. That's coming down the pike. Your usual holiday price increases. All this on the back of the fact that the post office has racked up a $3.1 billion with a B dollar quarterly loss, and again faces those calls to abandon that program. The $3.1 billion net loss for the third quarter of fiscal 2025 has, of course, prompted calls for them to abandon this plan and move on. The press release from the post office about its latest financial results showed losses ballooning compared to the $2.5 billion in the same quarter of the previous year. But Steiner and Chief Financial Officer Luke Grossman say they believe that the United States Postal Service is on the right path and they are committed to continuing down it. The strategy is sound. Now we have to execute, Steiner said during a public meeting. We can't execute unless all of our team is working together. We all need to be rowing the oars in the same direction. I'm not clear on what he's referring to there. If there are breakdowns in the executive or with the board of governors, or if they feel like rank and file or the union is not maybe playing nice. It's not clear what he's fishing for there, but it is clear that there are continuing problems at the post office, delivery standards notwithstanding. Grossman said, while the post office continues to face financial challenges, we are an organization pursuing continuous improvements and innovation. We remain focused on moving toward financial sustainability through operational efficiency, product strategies that will generate growth, and pricing adjustments. The pricing adjustments, one of which we just covered, still coming fast and furious twice a year. This last one was one of the more substantial ones that we've seen, and this next holiday increase, as I mentioned, is one of the more substantial ones that I can recall in recent memory as well. So the price of Ground Advantage, I know many sellers have reached out and commented on various message boards and Facebook groups. The new updated Ground Advantage pricing is very, very high, and with the seasonal increase is going to be stratospherically high. It is a it is a big number. Let me know again in the comments what you think. The nonprofit advocacy group Keep Us Posted doesn't share, of course, these rosy views. They say for 250 years, the U.S. Postal Service has been a cornerstone of our nation's infrastructure, providing reliable and affordable mail service to every American, including those in the most remote and underserved areas which private couriers cannot or will not reach. Louis DeJoy blatantly ignored relief provided by the Postal Service Reform Act of 2022, which, among other things, provided changes aimed at stabilizing the Postal Service, eradicated the requirement for USPS to fund retiree health benefits 70 years in advance. Instead, he plowed ahead with his plan, and its often twice annual postage hikes far above inflation rates, as well as service delays and a foolish focus on packages over mail, even though mail is still the largest revenue generator for the United States Postal Service. Again, for what it's worth, my editorial comment on that would be they were doing all that and they were still losing billions of dollars a year. So something needs to change at the post office. I am not personally convinced that they're on the right track with what they're doing. It makes sense on the surface, I guess, consolidating regional facilities and trying to streamline the process and simultaneously raising prices. But it is a huge burden on users of the service, obviously. While the Delivering for America plan promised to grow parcel volumes, lower costs, and allow Postal Service to break even by 2023, it lost $6.5 billion that fiscal year and continues to hemorrhage money. Again, lots of differing opinions on what the Postal Service should do. For my part, again, service has been pretty good. I've had one package that I know of in the last 6 months that has gone missing. A couple of delays with some scans, but all in all, my results with the Postal Service, even primarily using media mail, which is low priority stuff for them, has been really, really good. Let me know in the comments below how it's working out for you. I will leave the rest of this for you to read at your leisure. Moving on, Etsy is planning some inside buyer rewards changes, and their annual seller conference is coming up just ahead of the shopping season. If you're not familiar, Etsy has an insider program where people can get discounts and free shipping and some other perks. They are going to be making some changes to that because, much like the post office, they've not found those programs to be particularly financially profitable. Chief Growth Officer Kruti Patel Goyal reveals changes to the Etsy Insider Buyer Loyalty Program rolling out before the holidays, and registration is now open for the annual Etsy Up virtual event, not an in-person event, which will help sellers prepare for peak Q4 shopping season. If you're an Etsy seller, let me know if this is something that you plan to attend. Goyal, who is now back at Etsy after a stint as the CEO of the subsidiary Depop, which Etsy, as you know, owns, told investors on the Q2 earnings call that the beta test of the Etsy Insider Buyer Loyalty Program, quote, provided valuable information for the company as well as an increase in visits and sales, but it came at a cost that is not sustainable long-term, so they'll be revamping the offering to roll out updates before the holiday season. So I don't know how that works. You give someone a package and you find it's not profitable and now you want to claw it back. You want to take some of the benefits away. Will people continue to pay for the insider program? That will be the interesting part of this. They noted our third focus is on retaining and rewarding our most valuable customers, both buyers and sellers. They contribute the most to Etsy's success. Where have you heard that before? Does that sound like eBay's enthusiast buyer program? Interesting. By recognizing and incentivizing them, we aim to foster stronger loyalty. So again, focusing on these core customers rather than growing the pie globally, getting more, if you want to call them casual or occasional buyers, to come to the site. They're doubling down on this small group of really active people. I'm not sure. I totally don't believe it's the right program for eBay to be pursuing. Etsy, maybe a little more so because their target categories are a lot more niche. You can let me know what you think of that in the comments down below, but I'm not convinced that focusing on a smaller core group and trying to get more out of them is the way to increase your profitability. For buyers, they're developing a portfolio of tactics that will allow us to build experiences that resonate with different buyer segments. Those new to Etsy are repeat buyers and, of course, our habitual and already most loyal customers. The portfolio will likely include reward programs, targeted offers, nudges, and more. As a first step, we're evolving the Etsy Insider Beta Loyalty Program, which has shown excellent results of driving frequency and consideration, yet didn't provide scalable economics in its V1 iteration, i.e. it was losing them money. My guess is, and we'll get into it here in a minute in this article, they were losing their shirt on the free shipping. I've had multiple items that I have shipped here recently to Etsy Insider members that have had shipping 100% subsidized by Etsy. And that, as we just talked about, with the ever increasing price of shipping, is not something that's probably sustainable for Etsy. The community staff did offer more detail about what's changing. We loved hearing feedback, they said, from both buyers and sellers about the program. That's why we're introducing some updates as we continue to invest in ways to give people reasons to come back. Later this year, we'll introduce new benefits like rewards on every purchase. Not clear what those rewards will be. Is it points towards a purchase? Is it points towards discounts or a coupon? It's unclear what those rewards are. Special discounts and personalized offers just for members. Again, not clear. Is it once a month, once a quarter, once you spend X amount of dollars? Very vague on what those specials might be. We're also making some updates to existing benefits, like which orders are eligible for free shipping. Members will still get free shipping, but we're adding a minimum order amount, and changing the maximum shipping costs Etsy will cover per order. So you will have to spend more and you are likely to get less of your shipping costs covered in this program. If you do a lot of shopping on Etsy, the program may still make financial sense for you as a buyer. But again, giving you a benefit at a cost, and then whatever, 9 months later, reducing that benefit and reducing the effectiveness of it might be problematic for that. Where you saw what happened with Poshmark when they tried to make changes to fees. This could be kind of the same thing. I imagine they're going to get some pushback on that. You don't need to take any action. Of course, these changes will come at no cost to you. Well, that's good to know. We will keep you posted as these exciting changes happen. In the meantime, we're going to phase out the deals and drop benefit as well as the annual gift. So 2 more things being taken away. We appreciate all the sellers who participated in deals and drop and made it such a special benefit for members. Goyle also hinted at possible rewards being offered to sellers as well, though there were few details again, and it sounds like Etsy may have additional services or tools in mind rather than monetary rewards like fee discounts or advertising credits. So we'll see. We talked a couple of weeks ago about Etsy surveying their sellers, asking if they would be interested in this service or that service or some combination of extra services. And it looks like maybe the rewards program that's being geared potentially towards sellers would offer some of those things or a discount maybe on some of those offerings. We'll have to wait and see what that looks like. We also see a significant opportunity to recognize and reward our most committed sellers by evolving our offerings depending on where a seller is in her business journey with Etsy. I'm offended. No, I'm kidding. This year, we've already launched foundational improvements in tooling, including to our shop manager dashboard to better and more quickly serve seller needs. In the coming months, we'll roll out, oh my gosh, here we go, AI-enabled tools to boost efficiency, all in service of empowering our sellers to focus more on creating or curating goods, delighting our customers, and growing their businesses on Etsy. So again, the big push towards adding in AI. I will give Etsy credit. They have made a lot of changes. I've talked about it here previously, particularly on the desktop, on the web version of the Etsy seller dashboard, that are actually quite useful, beneficial, have improved efficiency, give you better transparency in a quicker way towards how fees are being applied to individual orders. So most of the changes that they've made, whether I use them particularly or not as a seller, I've found to be pretty useful and well thought out. So kudos to them. I don't want to just complain about everything that's going on here. The changes they've made, at least from where I'm sitting, have been quite good. Again, as always, you may have a different opinion and you can let me know in the comments down below. That would indeed be in line. The article continues with other recent updates that point to seller services as a potential profit opportunity, as I just mentioned, for the company beyond the transaction take rates. Again, they did also announce registration for their annual online conference, Etsy Up, encouraging sellers to attend the September 18th event for tips, tricks, and updates. Whether you're looking to discover new strategies to optimize your listings for the holidays, connect with a supportive community of fellow sellers, or get the latest updates on seller tools, Etsy Up is your space to learn, connect, and thrive together. You can RSVP for that event, which will be again September 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then there will apparently be some follow-up workshops as well. So good on Etsy for trying to get this stuff rolled out prior to fourth quarter, which is always a big request from sellers. We don't want change in Q4. So if this stuff all gets done prior to October, that will be fantastic. Here's an interesting one, and Liz posted this on Facebook, and I made a pretty snarky comment on there as well, which I will share with you here in a moment. eBay is expanding the AI responses for messaging, promising faster answers to shipping and item detail questions. eBay is expanding this response program. It was first launched in Australia back in August. It is now rolling out site-wide, I should say, ahead of eBay Open 2025. I did get a pop-up the other day on my mobile app asking me if I wanted to enable the Etsy or the eBay AI question service. I declined for reasons I will get into here in a moment. Sellers report seeing that pop up, nudging them to opt into messaging with eBay.ai. And as with the initial rollout in Australia, it's currently limited only to topics regarding shipping or item details. We'll talk about why that is here in a moment. The message that they sent, messaging is faster with eBay.ai. Intelligent assistants provide suggested replies to buyer questions using information solely from your listings and order details. So what it's doing, it's looking at your existing listing and trying to pull the correct information. So again, it's shipping details kind of only. So how much is it going to cost to ship here? It will pull what you've put in. So if your information is accurate, in theory at least, the AI's suggested response should also be accurate. Curated topics only available for topics relating to item details and shipping, and avoids questions about pricing or offers. So those kinds of questions will still come directly to you, but these two particular topics, which again you should have put information into and had the potential buyer bother to read your listing, would already know the answer to that, which is kind of the point of this. Those are the questions that will be answered. Complete control suggested replies are not visible to buyers, allowing you to review and edit them before sending, which you'll want to do, of course, because you, not eBay, is still responsible for the response to that question. So while opting in is still voluntary, the article says it's interesting to note that eBay does not provide no as a possible answer to the question. The only way to close the pop-up is to select Enable eBay.ai or maybe Later, which is what I selected. Once enabled, you can go in and turn it off with a toggle in the Messages menu and clicking the eye in the circle to provide more information, including the disclaimer about using third-party generative AI models for the service, though it does not name which models are being used. It says eBay.ai is here to assist you with quick, helpful, and friendly responses. If you have enabled this feature, eBay AI may suggest a response gathering details from the listing or order details. It will not answer all questions. It's only available when it can deliver relevant, accurate answers and avoids questions about pricing or offers. You'll have the ability to review and edit responses before they're sent. They note it is experimental and may suggest inaccurate or inappropriate responses. We're using third-party generative AI models to provide this service. Authorized eBay personnel may also access the messages you provide to resolve incidents, recover data, moderate content, and respond to feedback. Please don't share information you don't want them to access. While the disclaimer doesn't explicitly state that eBay may use the content for AI training, changes to their most recent privacy policy update have likely opted users into that by default, a practice that did raise regulatory eyebrows over in Germany. Users who do not want to use AI messages and want to opt out, having their data used for training, can update their preferences. So my thoughts on this are very similar to the use of the item description AI within eBay. I still have to review this potential response to the question. I am still responsible for its accuracy. I still need to go in and edit it to make any appropriate changes to make sure that the information is correct and accurate before I let the system send that message. If I got to do all that, I might as well review the question and answer it myself. This, as I said in my Facebook post to Liz, this strikes me as implementing AI just so that they can say that they are implementing AI. I don't find, you can let me know if I'm wrong. I'm perfectly willing to be called a Luddite on this. I don't find this the least bit useful. If I've still got to look at it, edit it, correct it before I send it, I'm just going to do it myself, like I do with my descriptions. So let me know what your thoughts are on it. I just don't find it particularly useful. Liz did test it in several cases and found that it was, at least in her limited experience, correctly answering the questions. So there is that, I guess. You can see on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, that it gives you the opportunity to edit before you send the message, which again is my rationale for not using it at all. Let me know if this is something that you would use. eBay has also tested U.S. seller sentiment on potential simple delivery expansion in a managed shipping survey. We talked about this a couple of months ago. UK private sellers continue to push back on simple delivery, having all kinds of issues with it in the UK. eBay is now testing US seller sentiment on potential managed shipping offering that would provide deeper shipping rate discounts, they claim, and full coverage in case of loss or damage in transit. Color me skeptical. I'm not sure I trust eBay for that. All you got to do, again, not to be too cynical, look at the situation currently going on with the eBay standard envelope program for trading cards, where they're having a problem with tracking numbers being inaccurate. Trading card sellers are having to provide tons of refunds. The system was apparently reusing tracking numbers, and it's just been a mess. I'm not interested personally in trusting eBay with that, even if it's a little cheaper than USPS. I'm again, color me skeptical. I'm not interested just on the face of it. A value-added resource reader reached out about a survey they recently received seeking their opinions about this proposed managed shipping service. We are considering adding a new eBay managed shipping service that includes the benefits listed below. From that list, select up to 3 benefits and rank them in the order most to least important. Some of them were no printer required with the option to use a QR code. eBay offers multiple shipping options on your behalf. Cheaper rates than eBay's existing discounts off retail rates for shipping labels. You receive a label that's already been paid for when your item sells. Remember, the way the program works in the UK is eBay provides the buyer with whatever the shipping service is going to be. They charge the buyer whatever the shipping rate they determine, and then they provide you as the seller the label. You do not see any of the shipping money. Your only exposure to this program at all is the label that you receive. So not that anybody's making a ton of money on shipping, but all the potential profit that you might make by not passing along your commercial discount to buyers in this type of program would be realized by eBay, who's going to handle all of the financial aspect of this. So again, let me know what you think. eBay fully protects you, they say, up to the entire item value if it is lost or damaged in transit. Again, because you didn't collect or pay for shipping, only the item value is covered in this. Package pickup from your home is free with the United States Postal Service, and eBay handles any buyer claims if the item is lost or damaged in transit. Again, considering eBay's level of customer service on most other things, to be fair, as I just said, I ship 100 plus packages a week, and I've had one in the last quarter that's been a problem. So I would not expect there to be a lot of issues, but when you multiply that by millions of sellers, it doesn't take all that many before it adds up to a lot for eBay to keep track of. So again, color me skeptical. It appears eBay would primarily look to use the United States Postal Service for this service with the addition of FedEx for larger packages, and they're keen to know if using FedEx would be an obstacle to adoption. With this new eBay managed shipping service, most orders will ship with USPS, they said, but you might be given a FedEx label if you live within 5 miles of a FedEx drop-off location and your package weight is over 20 pounds or your buyer selects an express service. Given the benefits you just read about, would the possibility of using FedEx prevent you from trying this new eBay managed shipping service? Let me know your thoughts on that as well. I'm personally not a fan of FedEx. I've not had great experience as a buyer receiving items in a timely fashion, receiving a multi-item purchase over the course of multiple days when it was all shipped at the same time. I've not had great personal success with FedEx. No surprise that eBay already has a deal with FedEx for mandatory prepaid shipping in the sneakers in the Authenticity Guarantee program. Will be interesting to see how they roll this out and if sellers choose to adopt this program. Back in 2019, it was revealed that eBay was at the time the second largest customer of the United States Postal Service, a position many sellers have said eBay could and should use to negotiate better discounted rates and pass more of those discounts on to them. And that is, we talk about it all the time, the rate I can get on Pirate Ship is exactly the rate that I see for the most part on eBay. So there's no advantage at this point to using eBay rates Is eBay skimming off a little bit of money off the top already? This program obviously would allow them to do even more of that. It's important to note that in a managed shipping scenario, the shipping amount, again, from the buyer is paid to eBay. Then eBay purchases the label, pays the carrier, and then provides you as the seller with the label to use. eBay sees this program in the UK as an important revenue center, so I would expect that they're going to attempt to roll this out everywhere. Last bit of news for this week, Mercari, gosh, reports their first ever full year profit as strategy shift pays off. Congratulations to Mercari. I wish this was trickling down more to sellers, because I'm constantly hearing from sellers who are in the same boat that I am. I've had one sale now in the last 2 weeks on Mercari. I'm just not seeing much business there, but they finally, after years of struggle, have made a profit. Mercari's U.S. operations have reported a full year profit for the first time ever, as their leadership shakeup, which we talked about, and a strategy shift apparently start to pay off. The Japan-based company ended their fiscal year in the most recent quarter ending June 30th, showing strong growth in the U.S. with a big turnaround. CEO Shintaro Yamada took over leadership of the U.S. marketplace back in January, as we discussed, following John Lagerling's resignation after a disastrous attempt to change the fee structure on the site caused an exodus of buyers and a mass layoff of about 45% of their staff. Back in the spring of 2024, we covered that extensively while all that was going on. Yamada recalibrated the platform under another new fee structure, this time split between buyers and sellers, a move Mercari said showed initial signs of improving gross merchandise volume on the previous earnings call, though the U.S. site was still showing some signs of struggle. Those efforts to update the fee model and strengthen the core product experience appear to finally be paying off, delivering a full year profit of 900 million Japanese yen, the first time the market has shown positive full year profit since it was launched 11 years ago, back in 2014. So not massive profit, but profit nonetheless. So good for them. They are still relying heavily. I currently have both a $10 credit and a 10% coupon offer in my Mercari inbox. So they are still doing a lot of offers to buyers to try to goose gross merchandise volume, to get people to spend money, to get people to come to the site and participate. Good on them. It seems to be working. And again, clearly offering those discounts has been more beneficial than the cost involved in actually providing those discounts, because they've made profit. So good on them. The state of the U.S. business under the new leadership beginning in H2, year-over-year gross merchandise volume growth rate reversed direction as a result of reviewing strategies. They're not real clear on what they've done. They are focusing a lot more on fashion. If you've been on Mercari recently, you know they're really pushing fashion. Profit and cost structure also improved significantly. To keep the momentum going in the U.S., Mercari plans to continue improving the user experience and safety and security of the site, though through AI tools again, and capabilities, while focusing on category-specific strategies to differentiate Mercari from the competition. Some of the things they want to do: establish an independent position by distinguishing their product clearly. They want to realize sustainable growth while essentially continuing to at least break even, which is an interesting philosophy. Enhance the product's core experience, use AI to innovate their user interface, differentiate Mercari from our competitors with category-specific strategies, part of which is, again, the big push they're making currently in fashion. So lots going on, but a big news for Mercari, making a profit for the first time in the US. So there you go. No What's Sold recap. I think I'm going to do maybe one a month of those, just do kind of like a top 10 or a top 15 once a month. So once we get to the end of August, I will take a look at what I've sold that might be interesting, and we'll get back to that. But that was a bunch of reselling news, a bunch of interesting stuff. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, your thoughts. I always love to hear what you guys are thinking about any of this stuff that's going on in the world of reselling. If you got something out of this, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. If this is your first time here, hey, welcome. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate it very much. I am, as you, if you're a long-time listener, you can tell because this show is dropping on a Wednesday instead of a Monday. I'm kind of on my own schedule. I'm not doing it as regularly as I would like, but there was enough stuff here that I wanted to talk about. I hope you found it useful. If you did, do me a favor again, hit that thumbs up button. Until next time, my friends, it's time to sell. Thanks, guys. You have been listening to the Galaxy CDs Rocks and Flips Reseller Talk podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you again next time.